Eileen, I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
A very warm good afternoon to each one of you. Education is all about igniting young minds and enabling them to attain their fullest potential. A very warm good afternoon. It is with great pleasure that IEEE Women in Engineering Society NIT Calicut, in collaboration with the Center for Career Development NIT Calicut, presents to you Turning Adversity into Opportunity, an event that may be an answer to all your questions regarding how to be successful in life and how to have your own success story. Myself, Mansi John, the Vice Chair of WIE IEEE, will be your host for the day. Now, without further ado, let me move on to welcoming each one of you to this gathering. First of all, I would like to welcome the distinguished speaker for today, who is none other than Mr. PC Mustafa, NIT Calicut Alumni, CEO of ID Fresh Food. With his valuable insights and experiences, I am sure that this session is going to be a wholesome experience for each one of you. Next, I would like to invite Shihabuddin Sir, Assistant Professor of Electrical Engineering Department, NIT Calicut, and the SP Counselor and Malabar Subsection Secretary of IEEE, along with Praveen Sir, Chairperson of the Center for Career Development, NIT Calicut, who have supported IEEE constantly for this remarkable event. I welcome you, sirs, to this gathering. Next, I would like to invite the Chairperson of IEEE NIT Calicut, Mr. Anupam Kurian Matthew, and the whole of IEEE who has joined us for this event. We welcome you all to this gathering. Last but not the least, I would also like to extend a hearty welcome to each one of you who has joined this event from various colleges. We are so thrilled to have such a talented group of students along with us. Well, I'm not delaying a lot, but now let's move on to knowing more about the esteemed speaker of today. And for this, I invite Eileen to the stage. Eileen, please.
Thank you, Manasi. Good afternoon to everyone present. This is Eileen, Secretary of Women in Engineering, IEEE and NITC. Hope you all are having a good break. I'm sure everyone present here knows PC Mustafa very well. But before we begin off with the session, I would like to give a brief introduction about him. PC Mustafa, also known as the Batter King, is a very well-known, inspiring speaker who has revolutionized the humble idli and conquered the idli business. Mr. Mustafa was born in a remote village in Wayanad, Kerala, and grew up in circumstances where 3 meals a day were considered a luxury. He did his engineering at our very own NIT Calicut and later pursued MBA from IIM Bangalore. He co-founded ID Fresh Food in 2005 along with his cousins and currently employs over 1,500 youngsters from rural India in the mission to feed millions of Indians healthy, preservative-free idlis, dosas, and other fresh products on a daily basis. Today, ID is a 4,000 crore brand and a recipient of many prestigious awards. Mr. Mustafa has been invited to share his story at multiple leading stages across the globe. Today, he is here at our event, Turning Adversities into Opportunities, conducted by IEEE and NITC in collaboration with Center for Career Development to enlighten us with his experiences. We will now be starting off with the session, and in the end, we'll also be having a Q&A session where you can ask your doubts in the chat box. Handing over to you, sir.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
In the name of God, peace be unto you. Thank you for inviting me here. Special thanks to Manasi for coordinating this session. Can you enable screen sharing for me, Lynn?
Yes, I'll make you the host.
You could enable screen sharing. That will be better because the control you could take over.
We are also very happy that we have such a good participation till now. We have over 200 participants who are on this virtual platform. So we are sure that this will be such a great session for all of you.
Yeah. Can we go?
So I'll make you the host. I guess that's
Yeah,
better.
that's fine. Please go ahead. Yeah, please go ahead. I think that may not work because I keep getting requests when I'm the host. Okay, what I do is I will start the screen sharing, then I'll make you the host again.
Okay.
Okay, can you see my screen now?
No.
Yeah, I think that doesn't work. So make me the host again. Sorry, there's some technical. You see my screen now?
Yes, it is.
Great. Sorry, some technical issues initially. I'm PC Mustafa, CEO of ID. We make world's best food, idlis. Before I share my ID story, let me take a few minutes to share my personal story with you. I hail from this beautiful place called Wayanad in Kerala, very close to NITC. You must visit. If you've not been to Wayanad, you must visit as part of your weekends in Wayanad. During my school days, my village was so remote that we had no electricity in the village. We had no roads in the village. I had to walk miles to my school. The government's midday meal scheme was the biggest motivation factor for me to attend the school. 3-time meal was a distant dream. Breakfast was a luxury. My dad was a daily wage worker in a farm. And he was getting paid around 10 rupees a day. As he was finding it difficult to meet both sides of the family, I ended up doing coolie job at the age of 10 with my dad. I was very poor in my studies. I was a school dropout. And I started working in the farm with my dad. With the motivation of my teachers and parents, I went back to school. I then became a school topper in less than 1 year. By chance, I ended up doing my engineering in computer science from NIT Calicut. During the campus hiring, I got a job in a company called Manhattan Associates in Bangalore. That's when I happened to see a world outside Kerala. My first month's salary was 14,000 rupees. I handed over my first month's salary to my dad. He literally cried seeing that money because he had never seen that kind of money in his lifetime. It was actually more than his lifetime saving. I then worked with few MNCs in India, Middle East, and Europe. Decided to come back to India with an objective of creating employment for smart kids for the village. And that's when I partnered with my cousins. After coming back to India, I did my engineering. I did my MBA from IIM Bangalore. During my MBA days, during my weekends and holidays, I used to discuss various ideas with my cousins, who used to be my childhood friends as well. My cousins were running a small-time kirana store in a place called Indiranagar in Bangalore. We used to discuss various ideas, and one such idea was about idli dosa batter. There was a vendor who was supplying idli batter in a plain pouch, the rubber band on the top. You will still see in some remote villages or some remote parts of Chennai now. This batter had all sorts of quality issues, service complaints, and hygiene issues. My cousins tried to fix the issue with the vendor multiple times, it didn't work out. That's when we thought, why don't we try to fix it ourselves? But we had no experience for the food business. We were not experienced in making breakfast. Forget about making breakfast. We were not even experienced in eating breakfast. But we thought we'll give it a try. We didn't have money. All what we had was 50,000 rupees. With that money, we bought one grinder, one mixer, one weighing scale, one sealing machine, and a second scooty. Our job was to go to market every day, buy rice and dal, come back, clean, wash, soak, grind, mix, pack, ferment it. Next day morning, load this batter packs on this TVS scooty, go to the market ourselves and sell it ourselves. It was a back-breaking job. Our shirt would be soaked in sweat, but it was great learning. We didn't give up. It was not an easy journey. It took us almost 1 year to get the product right. It took us another 1 year to sell 100 packets a day. We went through that journey. That's the past. Today, we are a team of 2,500 people mostly from remote villages of India. Present in 6 countries, in around 70 cities, with 30,000 outlets in place. And most importantly, we feed more than 2 million Indians every day with the world's best food, idli. It is not by chance, it's by choice. How did we build a business out of nothing? How did we identify a commodity business and build a brand out of it? What was the motivation for us to venture into food business by quitting a well-paid job? So in the next 20 minutes, I'm going to share a couple of stories with you. These are real life stories. And I hope these stories will help you to become better leaders and better human beings. My first story is very well connected with my engineering days in NIT Calicut. Those days, it was REC Calicut. As you would have probably noticed, I was a below average student. I was very lucky to get into NIT Calicut. I was a below average student. My IQ level was very low. And my communication skill was almost zero. Even during the engineering final years, I had to give a seminar. I could not speak even a single word in front of my faculty. Coming back to the campus placement days, many of this campus interviews I failed because I could not crack the aptitude test during the engineering days. I still remember I was very keen to get admission. I was very keen to get selected in Infosys. By the way, I did my engineering computer science. But Infosys test was too tough for me to crack. I failed. But then I didn't want to give up. I continued and started practicing in front of the mirror to speak as well as started trying some of the tests myself. And somehow I managed to get a placement from a company called Manhattan Associates in Bangalore. That's the past. Recently, I was invited as a guest speaker at Infosys Bangalore. It was a very emotional moment for me. Because my IQ level was low, I did not get entry into Infosys at that time. But the same person was honored in front of a large crowd, this time without an aptitude test. That was a memorable moment for me. So failure doesn't matter. If you don't get into campus interviews in Infosys, don't worry. You should become a distinguished speaker for them one day in future. That's my story about the failure that I had faced during my engineering days. Coming back to the next story is about the power of determination. After my engineering, as I told you, I did work with few MNCs in India, Middle East, and Europe. Came back to India with an objective of creating employment, as well as I had a dream to pursue my higher studies. I was working with Intel in Bangalore. On a weekend, I went for a family trip to a place called Benagata in Bangalore. Benagata is almost 35 kilometers from Bangalore. They have a national park. On the way to Benagata, I happened to see this beautiful campus of IIM Bangalore. I was intrigued to enter the campus, but I didn't know anyone inside the campus. I didn't have the courage to go and check the security as well. But that day, I made up my mind that I will enter this campus one day in future. But as you know, I was below average student. I was not able to crack the regular CAT exam. I did work for almost 2 years. I get up for my prayer at 5 in the morning, practice for 2 hours every day for 2 years. That was good enough for me to get admission in IIM Bangalore. Recently, I was honored as the youngest distinguished alumni in the history of IIM Bangalore. Receiving that award in front of my parents was the best moment in my life. Never give up. Be determined. Determination helps. My next story is about common sense. We all complicate things. Common sense is the most important ingredient for innovation and business. I'm now getting to business aspects. We had started idli batter trial from 2005-06 time. And we were doing well. In 2015-16 time, just around 8-9 years ago, we started looking at what next. That's when vada came in picture. As you all know, vada is a great snack. It goes best with idli. A South Indian breakfast is incomplete without an idli, dosa, and vada. Kids love vada. But then vada is one of the most difficult snack to make at home. Unless you're an expert like your grandmother. You can't get the shape right for the vada. You can't get the size right for the vada. It's a messy job to create vada. Even if you give vada batter, it is a messy job for you to create the vada. And the most important aspect for the vada is the hole. We Indians don't eat a vada without a hole. A vada without a hole is called bonda. We identified the century-old problem as an opportunity. We then started working on it. It took us almost 3 years and hundreds of failures. And today, a homemaker can make vada at home using ID Vada Pack untouched by hand. That is 100% natural, no chemicals, no preservatives, nothing else added in it. I'm going to show you the video on how the vada making project was done and how the vada making packaging solution works today.
This is no ordinary snack, a South Indian speciality. It's a favorite in homes across India, but its circular cylindrical shape and donut-like hole make it fairly difficult to prepare at homes. It needs the expert hands of grandmas and aunts or even restaurant cooks. Not anymore. ID decided to turn its attention on this age-old problem and transform the complex art of vada making into a science for everyone. And the key ingredient? Common sense. A path-breaking, little big invention. The spout that shapes batter into vadas with the hole. And that's it. Squeeze, shape, cut, fry. Handmade, but with no mess, no stress. Just delicious, crispy vadas. ID, maker of India's favorite batters and fresh food, presents Vada Batter in a pack that shapes batter into vadas. Now, everybody can vada.
Were you able to watch the video, Manasi? Elaine, did it work out? Hello?
Yes, sir, we were able to see.
Okay. As you can see in this packaging, it took us almost 3 years to get the right hole for the vada. Hundreds of failures. This is how innovation works. This was done almost 5 years ago. This vada video went viral across the world. We started getting requests from different parts of the world to create a similar packaging for donuts as well. What next? So it's important for us to continuously look around, identify customer problems, and solve it using common sense and upgrade ourselves. So we looked at
This
what could be
is
next.
no ordinary
That's when we looked at
snack.
That's when we looked at how do we upgrade this packaging solution. Now, if you look at the current packaging solution from a customer study, we identified there were 4 additional requirements or 4 gaps in this particular product. One, the batter, leftover batter was not visible from the packaging. So we kept a transparency window for that. Customers were not able to customize this for their taste, which is a vada without the pepper and chili is not a great idea. So customers wanted a feature to add chili, pepper, onion into the vada batter. Third, there were some complaints in the market about the cutting technology. Sometimes it doesn't work, which is the hole maker. And the last one, customers wanted to create or reuse this particular packaging. So we came up with our next version of Vada Pack just last week. In fact, it was launched on 1st of this month. Let me just show you our Vada version 2.
When you thought only grandmothers can make the perfect vadas, ID said everybody can vada. But now that everybody's making vadas, ID says let your vada be your Veda. Introducing the new customizable ID Vada Batter Pack. Open the pack and add spices of your choice. Just mix and squeeze. The newly engineered spout design gives you, ta-da, the perfectly round vada. And when our batter is done, refill it with yours. Just when you thought you'd seen one of the greatest innovations, things got better. Enjoy your vadas, your Veda. When you thought only...
Thank you. That was about the Vada innovation. So I did pick up Vada innovation as a case study for you for this talk, because the role of an entrepreneur is to identify customer problems, is to look around, identify customer problems, and solve it for the customers, and continuously upgrade it. That is what we did at ID. We didn't become a Me Too company. We ended up becoming a very, very innovative company by solving customer problems. And that's how you become successful in business. My last story is about shortcuts in life. Let me share a story with you. This is during the difficult time in my life. I did my MBA in 2007 from my IIM Bangalore, and then ventured into ID business. I had a very cushy job. I was getting paid around 3 lakhs rupees a month during those days. I quit the well-paid job and ventured into ID business. It was very difficult for me to manage my expenses with the family living in Bangalore with the income that I was getting from ID. I was getting paid only 10,000 rupees a month during those days. It was very difficult to manage expenses. Idli business was not a fancy business. There was no investors to invest in ID or the ID concept. If I had started a pizza business, probably many would have invested after my MBA. But then Idli business was not a fancy business for them. And we didn't come from a rich family background to invest in this business. Other option was to borrow money from the bank. As interest-based transactions were against my values, we didn't want to take that route. We have never borrowed. Even today, we are a zero-debt company. We don't pay interest, we don't take interest. So we were not able to grow further. And that's when we thought of creating some new products. So we created 2 new products during those days. It was diamond cuts. Diamond cuts had 2 flavors. One was sweet, one was chili. Diamond cut is like your nachos or, it's like nachos. The sweet version, chili version of the diamond cuts was doing well in the market. We were getting good traction. We were struggling during those days. We were not able to pay salary to my employees. The salary payment was delayed by 6 months. And the business was on the verge of shutdown as well. And that's when we identified this particular product, which could give us a breathing space. One day, I got a call from a large hotel group in Bangalore. The chef, in his Western accent, said, "We quite liked your product. We would like to meet you and place large order." I was very happy. This is like a dream come true situation for a startup entrepreneur. We were seeing light at the end of the tunnel. We got a large order from this store, from this particular customer. My team was completely energized. We were all set. As an entrepreneur, I was very curious. I wanted to know the usage pattern of this particular product in their store or in their hotel. My idea was to identify the usage pattern and use that as a case study for me to sell the same product to more stores and then make more money. This order value was very large. It was almost, the profit that we get from this order was actually more than our 1-year profit. Our team was completely energized. And I met the chef. In his Western accent, he said, "We quite liked your product and we want to serve it as a bar snack." Bar snack? That's the first time I heard the word bar snack. I was confused. Should I be selling a product to promote liquor business? Is that what I want to do in my life? I was confused. On the way back, I talked to my cousins, my co-founders. We had different views. On one side, we had a huge order, which was fulfilling my immediate requirements and helping us to pay salary and sustain the business. The other side, there's a conflict with the values. Business growth was conflicting with my value system. We debated a lot. Finally, we decided to cancel this order. I called up the chef and I told him, unfortunately, we cannot service this order. He shouted at me. I apologized and I kept the phone down. I felt crying after this incident. I felt crying not because I lost this order. I felt crying because the Almighty God gave me the courage to take the toughest decisions in the most difficult times of my life. And this is how a brand is built. This is how you become successful. Never ever take shortcuts in life. Never compromise on values. Create something in your life which you can pass on to a generation, and the story can be shared with generations to come. Never ever take shortcuts in life. Never compromise on values, because you will regret one day in your life. So my last story to you is, irrespective of what happens in life, stay true to your values, stay true to the promise that you give to your customers, and avoid shortcuts. Thank you again for this wonderful opportunity. I'll be happy to take a few questions. Let me summarize my messages for you. Our background doesn't matter. We had no experience in making breakfast, and the same team who failed initially multiple times is now serving Indians, more than 2 million Indians every day, with the world's best food, idli. We're actually fighting a war against chemicals and preservatives in the food. Next one, never ever get worried about failure. The best way to take revenge on failure is to show them success. And that's what I did with Infosys when I was rejected in campus interview, and then later when I was invited as a guest speaker. Third, determination helps. The entire ID story and my success story can be summarized in 4 words: the power of determination. That shows in my IAM journey. Fourth message was all about the innovation, common sense, innovation, and thereby helping customers to do their job better. And that's how you build a great business. And the last message was actually meant for you is, never ever take shortcuts in life. I'll be happy to narrate this story to my grandchildren one day in future, that I was part of a team who built a multi-billion-dollar business without taking interest, without taking shortcuts, without compromising values. Thank you again for this wonderful opportunity. God bless you all. Jai Hind. I will be happy to take a few questions.
Thank you so much, sir. Your words were indeed very inspiring and motivational. So could you give me the host access? Because
Yes. Done.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So that was indeed a very great session, and the step-by-step procedure that you have provided would be indeed an inspirational story for each of the people who have joined this meet. And I'm sure that there would be a lot of future entrepreneurs here. And this story of yours would be truly a very inspirational story for each one of them. So now, without further ado, let me invite Swati Krishna Sajeev, the technical coordinator of WIE IEEE, who would carry on the Q&A session. Swati, please.
Thank you, Ansi. I hope I'm audible.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Sir, truly your words were very inspiring and showed us a new direction to think, grow, and improve ourselves in. Without further ado, moving on, the chat boxes will be now enabled to raise your doubts and questions. Meanwhile that's happening, how do you feel being back to NITC, sir?
We had a alumni get together recently at NITC. I met Manasi as well. She was a singer for the program. It was a great feel to come back to NITC and experience the hostel life again.
That's great to know, sir. So we have a few questions as of now. One is, what are the challenges you faced when you were transforming the working from small shop to factory?
The money. The biggest issue was the money. We didn't have money during those days. So the easiest option was to borrow money on interest, but we didn't want to take that route. It was against my values. And thereby we said, it's okay, it might take more time. And thereby, business growth was affected, but the value was not compromised.
Thank you, sir. So there's another question. It's quite elaborate. The idea and effort in realizing customizable vada batter that could be refilled is really wonderful thing. But wouldn't you end up losing more than half of your customers if they start refilling it with their batter?
We are doing it for a purpose. We want to reduce plastic usage. We want customers to make it home and reuse packaging.
So, sir, we have another comment and a query. There is Ranjit Ravi, who has mentioned that you have always been inspired by your story. You're a great role model. And the question he's raised up is, how challenging was the scale up from the start? How did you sustain the quality and customer service?
So the thing, there are multiple questions. I'll try to answer one. How challenging was the initial days? It was very, very tough, as I told you, right? Our shirt would be soaked in sweat. If you pause for a moment, look at my pedigree. I had done my engineering in computer science from NIT Calicut. I had a cushy job. I had done my MBA from IIM Bangalore. My classmates and colleagues were having corporate lunches and having Costa coffee. Here I was on the street, trying to sell idli and hoping to make money one day in future. That's how the world's best business are built. You only get to know the success stories of the business, but there's a lot of struggle that goes behind this. And that's the journey we traveled. But one thing we ensured during those journey is that we will never ever take shortcuts. We will never ever compromise on values. And that value system is there in every aspect of the business, even at the product level. It was very easy for me to add some chemicals and preservatives in the food, like many other companies do, and create better product and longer shelf life and bring quality consistency. We said, no, we are here to fight a war against chemicals and preservatives. Thereby, we kept our products 100% natural, no chemicals, no preservatives, nothing artificial in it. In fact, we make the products exactly the same way our grandmothers used to make at home. If you look at the batter, we still use the wet grinding technology. That was not easy. That journey is tough. And that's the path less traveled. But today, I'm very happy, as I mentioned earlier, that I'm able to narrate the story to you and to my grandchildren one day in future.
So it is a great opportunity for us as well to hear it directly from you. So there's another question that says, if I'm not taking an MBA degree, what are the chances ahead? It has further questions as well. I'll break it down to you.
I'll try to take one question at a time.
Okay, sir, sure.
So the answer is, not everyone is fit for MBA or management or business, right? There are people, many of my friends have been very successful in technical aspects. So it depends on what motivates you. In my case, after my engineering, I had written GATE exam and I had a good case score. I could have got into one of the top IIT for my MS studies, MTech. But then my dad couldn't afford it. My financial situation was tough for me to pursue my higher studies at that time. And I decided to take up a job. But then after working in IT for a few years, I learned probably I can do a better job in after taking MBA rather than taking MTech. So it depends on how you want to pursue a career. My sincere request to all of you would be, if you are not able to take a decision now in your life, give it some time. Maybe after 2-3 years of a corporate life, you'll get clarity on what you want to do in your life, and then take higher studies accordingly.
Okay. So the continuation of it was how can I take my entrepreneurship idea to the next level?
So the entrepreneurship idea, if you have something in you, don't wait for tomorrow, do it today, because tomorrow never comes. We all are good at identifying problems, but we believe somebody else will solve it for us. No. If you have to make this world a better place, you have to do it yourself. Right? So if you have an idea, an entrepreneurship idea, my first thing would be test the concept. Test it with minimal investment, minimal money. And once you feel confident, and if you're passionate about doing that, go ahead. Do it today, not tomorrow.
Really, sir. So there's another question which points towards how did your MBA degree help you to grow your business?
I think, in fact, I'm addressing the IAMB students tomorrow, so I'm expecting a very similar question tomorrow as well. But let me try to answer this question. I think there were 2-3 things that helped me during my MBA days. One, it gave me courage to quit a well-paid job and pursue my passion. Second, I learned the art of brand building during my MBA days. I learned the different aspects of the business during the MBA days. I did build a great network from my MBA degree. And most importantly, this young boy from a remote village was lucky enough to get into IIM, and him coming out and starting idli business was a news in the market. It got us a lot of media coverage. That helped.
Yes, sir. So there's another question that says, starting from scratch is difficult, and to stay in the path is even more difficult. What was your motivation through the entire journey?
My motivation is my customer and my purpose of life. During my MBA days, I had to write a reflection paper on my purpose of life. And Dr. D.V. Sheshadri, my prof during those days, loved my answer and read it to the class. And my answer was along these lines. Who are you? What's the purpose of life? What will make you happy in that bed? Those are the kind of questions that I had to reflect on. I identified that the purpose of my life is to serve the needy. And for that, I need money. What I do then is I looked at 3 aspects. How do I create employment? How do I make a lot of money? Then how do I use this money to serve the needy? So that's how the whole thing works. We create employment for rural sector. As I mentioned earlier, we have around 2,500 employees, mostly from rural sector. And then we help 2 million customers every day to eat healthy and stay healthy. And with that, we make a lot of money. We use that money for making this world a better place on our social projects as well. And that's how the entire ecosystem works.
Okay, sir. Moving on to our last question, so due to time constraints, being an NIT student myself, it is also a question that I've raised along with many of my fellow NITians. How has NITC helped you in this path of your journey to success?
NITC gave me a different perspective to life. I made a lot of friends. In fact, I started ID business along with my classmate and roommate in NITC, hostel mate, right? And NIT gave me my first income, right? And I was able to make my dad happy with my first income. What else can I do? What else can I achieve in my life? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your valuable time and your truly inspiring messages.
Thank you.
Moving forward, I would like to hand over the stage to Mansi to proceed with the meeting today. Thank you.
Thank you, Swati. Thank you, sir, for sharing all of your experiences and at the same time answering the questions of this talented group who has joined us today. Thank you, sir. Yeah, so next of all, I would like to invite Shihabuddin, sir, who has not come here for now. So I would like to invite Praveen, sir, the chairperson of the Center for Career Development, NIT Calicut, to just shed some light to us and also appreciate Mustafa, sir, who has joined us today. Praveen, sir, are you audible, sir?
Yeah, hi, Manasi.
Thank you, sir.
Hear me?
Thanks.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir, it's audible.
Yeah. So, hello, Mustafa, sir. So thank you for being here. So first of all, the one thing I noticed in many of your answers is that you talked about a lot of things that we want to convey from Center for Career Development, because, at age of 19, 20, 21, kids are most excited about the 20 lakh, 30 lakh job, and jumping into that, they have doubts about corporate life. They have doubts about, whether to go for MTech, MBA, etc. And many of the things that you said, give it time, get to understand what you want out of life, and, just give it time for that, work towards that. And something like, try the corporate world, maybe try academics, then see what you can do, take the opportunity, jump into that. These are things, that we try to convey from our side, and you have put it really beautifully, in fact. So
I can interrupt for a while.
Yeah.
It's a hypothetical situation, right? If I had got in Infosys, probably I would not have started ID. Right? If my dad could have afforded my MTech after my engineering, I would have probably become a computer science engineer or a computer scientist or research, right? I would not have started ID. It is the destiny. It is, I was able to take the right decision because I had some experience in corporate life.
Yes.
Right? The circumstances help me that. And that's my recommendation as well.
So, in fact, I have one query, because even from our society currently, there is a big push for entrepreneurship while being a student. And in fact, personally, I'm a bit against that, because, I tell you, get a experience from corporate, see how world works. What is the life experience that you have, and what is your life philosophy that you have? What is your opinion regarding this?
So I don't think, sir, I can give you any particular opinion. There have been many success stories and failure stories as well, right? So it depends, I think, from person to person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in my case, corporate life helped. In my case, MBA helped. But there are many, right? Without even engineering, without even a corporate experience, without even MBA, have been very successful in life. In business.
Yeah. So I think it is
then
about...
only one thing that I noticed is these three, that's my engineering, my MBA, and my corporate life, help me to give a structure, proper structure for the business model, and then gradually grow. By the way, for all the computer science students out there, be proud that I still use technology, and we are a tech-driven business, highly tech-driven, and I still review my C# code.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. So I think what I'll also do is we'll be playing this video during our orientation sessions, where we'll have a larger audience, and I think this is highly informative. So I thank you so much from bottom of my heart for coming here, sharing this, because people need to see this. This is a message that definitely have to go across. So thank you again, sir. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
So Mansi.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Praveen sir. And as Praveen sir had stated, Mustafa sir, it is actually an honor for us to host you today. And thank you so much for inviting, for coming here, speaking to all of us, and giving such a great message to all of the future entrepreneurs, the future engineers who are here right now in this meet. So thank you so much, sir. And now I think we can move on to the last segment of today, which is nothing but the vote of thanks. And for the vote of thanks, I heartily invite Mr. Anupam Kurian Matthew. Yeah,
Before that, Shihabuddin sir is there. So I would like to
Oh, okay,
invite
yeah.
Shihabuddin sir to give his talk a few words about it.
Hello, hello.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yeah, actually, I'm in traveling right now. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your talk. I was just heard some little bit talk in between while traveling. We are expecting much more collaboration, other interaction with you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Shihabuddin sir. Despite his traveling, he had still come here. So thank you, sir, so much. So guys, let's move on to the last segment. As I had announced earlier, I invite the chairperson of IEEE SP NIT Calicut, Mr. Anupam Kurian Matthew, to share the vote of thanks. Anupam, please.
Hello, am I audible? I would like to express my gratitude towards PC Mustafa sir, the CEO of ID Freshfood. He has set aside 1 hour of his valuable time to interact with us, answering all of our queries. Running a business of this scale is not even imaginable for a lot of us. We are currently going into our placement and internship season. A lot of us will be conflicted about whether or not to join a company or to pursue our entrepreneurial dreams. I believe that this session would have been helpful for them to get more clarity on how to proceed with their ambition. I would like to thank Shihabuddin sir, branch counselor of IEEE SB NIT Calicut, for being here. I'd also like to thank Dr. Praveen Shankan, chairperson of CCD, for being here and giving his valuable thoughts on entrepreneurship and corporate life. I would also like to thank all the students and faculty who have joined this session and made it lively by asking queries to our guest. Thank you all.
Thank you all then. God bless you all. Jai Hind.
Thank you all. So we have come to an end to the session. I would like to thank each one of you who has joined the session, and special thanks to PC Mustafa sir. So we always expect your wholehearted contribution in the same way. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. So we've come to an end of today's session. Thank you all. See you all next time. Thank you. This is Manasi John, Eileen, Swati Krishna signing off. Thank you.